3, 2, 1. Hello YouTube, Otaku here. I'm going to be your personal narrator for today. We're going to be getting back into it with page 436, The Grapes of Wrath. If you haven't been onto this channel before, please go ahead and go to the channel description to find out who and what this channel is about and for. If you have been onto this channel before, then please get ready for the eucalyptus inhalation ritual. And I hope everybody's having a good night so far. So far, so good. You know, the Jules have just come into great tragedy again. One of the children has ratted on them because she was being bullied by another child. And she was just ready to use her brother as the ammunition of the scariest thing in the world for a person, which is somebody who is capable and prepared and is honestly driven towards murder. And of course Tom's not like that, we know that as the readers, but as this little child mind believes that she can take on anything in the world as long as Tom is there, her murderous older brother. That's how she looks at him now, because they've decided to try to raise them up quick and fast enough to let them know these kind of things without them properly having the maturity of actually keeping the discretion viable. This is not a viable strategy, and these children have failed in their duties of trying to withhold, keep the omission of Tom's actual crisis going on right now. Because he has murdered somebody. There should be justice going on, but the thing is that we are rooting for the underdog here. We love the Jules. We don't care about anybody else. We don't care about justice around here. God darn anybody that sits there and believes that the Jules deserve anything but, like, you know, they deserve a home. They deserve to be a happy family. They got kicked off their land, and they're good people. They have to go through the struggle of life like everybody else, but that's not going to stop us from relating to the fact that, hey, this is our kin. This is the people that we are watching and wanting to succeed. Imagine being some kind of hater enough to read a book and be like, gosh, I hope these people die at the end. Like, you too, buddy. Right back at you. Well, I'm ready to smoke. Make sure to have your waters on standby. These sessions do get intense. Water. Proper. Okay. I can go ahead and get another bowl packed and ready for the next one. And let's begin. I remember where I left off. I really don't, but let's continue. I'm going to start on the second paragraph. I'm just going to start at the top. Honestly, I'm just going to start at the top. Why that little bitch? No, she didn't know what she was doing. Now look, Paul, I want you to stay here. I'm going out and trying to find Tom and tell him. I gotta tell him to be careful. You stick here, Paul, and kind of watch out for things. I'm talking about some dinner. All right, Paul agreed. Don't you even mention to Ruthie what she's done. I'll tell her. At the moment, Ruthie came in, while Whitefield behind her. The little girl was dirtied. Her mouth was sticky and her nose was dripped with a little bit of blood from the fight. She looked shamed and frightened. Whitefield triumphantly followed her. Ruthie looked fearfully about, but when she went to the corner of the car and she put her back into the corner, her shame and fiercenesses were blended. I told her what she done, Whitefield said. Ma was putting 2 chops and some fried potatoes on a tin plate. Hush, Whitefield, she said. There ain't no need to hurt her feelings no more of what she's hurting. Ain't no need to hurt her feelings no more and what they're hurting. Ruthie's body hurtled across the car. She grabbed Maul around the middle and buried her head in Maul's stomach, and her struggle sobs soaked her whole body. Maul tried to loosen her, but the grubby fingers clung tight. Maul brushed the hair on the back of her head gently, and she patted her shoulders. "Hush," she said. "You didn't know." Ruthie ran her dirty, tear-stained, bloodied face. "They stole my Cracker Jacks," she cried. "The big set of bitchy girls. She belted me." She went off into hard crying again. "Hush," Mom said. "Don't talk like that. Here, let go. I'm gonna go now." "Why ain't you whoop her, Ma?" "Oh. Why ain't you whooping her, Ma? If she didn't get all snobby with her Cracker Jacks, it wouldn't have happened. Come on, give her a whooping," Winefield whined. "You mind your business, mister," Maul said fiercely. "You get a whooping yourself. Now let go, Ruthie." Winefield retired to a rolled mattress, and he regarded the family cynically and dully, and he put himself into a good position of defense, for Ruthie would attack him at the first opportunity, and he knew of it. Ruthie went quietly, heartbrokenly to the other side of the car. Ma put a sheet of newspaper over the tin plate. "I'm going now," she said. "Ain't you gonna eat nothing yourself?" "Oh, wait. Ain't you gonna eat nothing yourself?" Uncle John demanded. "Later, when I come back. I wouldn't want nothing now." Ma walked to the open door, and she steadied herself down to the steep, cleated catwalk. Alright, so far so good. Honestly, page 437. I want to know smoke right fast. Clink, clink, clink. Poor Ma. Just shame that the family's putting her through something like this. Ma just wants to live and have a happy family. Little kids are going to be little kids, but they don't deserve to sit there and have to have the responsibilities that adults have to bear when it comes to knowledge. And I think it was wrong for Tom to sit there and force that upon them. R.I.P. Casey. It's a nice, decent chunk. You'd love to see it. Alright. Hydration check. "Ain't you gonna eat nothing yourself?" Question mark. Uncle John demanded. "Later, when I come back. I wouldn't want nothing now." Ma walked to the open door. She steadied herself down the steep, cleated catwalk. On the stream side of the boxcars, the tents were pitched close together, their guy ropes crossing one another, and the pegs of one at the canvas line of the next. The light shone through the cloth as the chimneys belched smoke. Men and women stood at the doorway. Children ran feverishly about. Ma moved majestically down the tents. Here and there she was recognized, and she went by. "Evening, Mrs. Joel." "Evening." "Taking something out, Mrs. Joel?" "There's a friend I'm taking back some bread." She came to the last at the end of the line of tents. She stopped and looked back. A glow of light was on the camp, and the sobbed everybody of the multitude of speakers. Now and then a harsher voice cut through. The smell of smoke filled the air. Somebody played a harmonica softly, trying for an effect. One phrase over and over. Ma stepped in among the willows beside the stream. She moved off the trail and waited silently, listening to hear any possible follower. A man walked through the trail towards the camp, boasting his suspenders and bottoming his jeans as he went. Ma sat very still, and he passed on without seeing her. She walked for 5 minutes, and then she stood up and crept up the trail beside the stream. She moved quietly, so quietly that you could hear the murmur of the water about her soft steps on the willow leaves. Trail and stream swung it to the left and then to the right again until they were near the highway. In the gray starlight, she could see the embankment of the black round hole of the culverts, where she always left Tom's food. She moved cautiously, thrusted her package into the hole. She took back the empty till plate which was left there. She crept back among the willows, forced her way into a thicket, and sat down to wait. Through the tangle, she could see a black hole of the culvert. She clasped her knees and sat silently. In a few moments, the thicket crept to life again. The field mice moved cautiously over the leaves. A skunk padded heavily and unconsciously down the trail. Carrying a faint effluvium of him. Oh, I'm definitely writing down this word. Psh. E. Oh, wait, hold on. E. F. F. L. U. V. I. U. M. Carrying a faint effluvium of him, and then a wind stirred the willow delicately, as though it tested them, and a shower of golden leaves coasted down to the ground. Suddenly, a gush boiled in and raked the leaves, and a creeping downpour of leaves fell. Ma could feel them on her hair and on her shoulders. Over the sky, a plump black cloud moved, erasing the stars. The fat drops of water scattered down, splashing loudly onto the fallen leaves, and the clouds moved on and unveiled the stars again. Maul shivered. The wind blew past and left the thicket quiet, but the rushing of the trees went down onto the stream. From back onto the camp came the thin, penetrating tone of a violin, feeling about for a tune. Maul heard a stealthy step among the leaves far to her left, and she grew tense. She released her knees and straightened her head, the better to hear. The movement stopped, and after a long moment began again. A vine rasped harshly onto the dry leaves. Maul saw a dark figure crept onto the open and draw near to the culvert. The black round hole was obscured for a moment, and then the figure moved back. She called softly, "Tom?" The figure stood still, so low to the ground that it might have been a stump. She called again, "Tom? Oh, Tom?" And then the figure moved. "That you, Ma?" ? "Right over here." She stood up and went over to meet him. "You shouldn't have come," he said. "I got to see you, Tom. I got to talk to you." "It's near the trail," he said. "Somebody might come by." "Ain't you got a place, Tom?" ? "Yeah, but suppose somebody seen you with me. Whole family be put in a jam." "I got to, Tom," said Ma. "Then come along. Come quiet." He crossed the little stream, wading carelessly through the water. I just want to, you know what? That's a word that I just don't see often enough. Wadding, W-A-D-I-N-G. He moved through the brush out into a field on the other side of the thicket and along the plowed ground. The blackened steam of the cotton were a hush against the ground, and a few fluffs of cotton clung onto the stems. A quarter of a mile they were along the edge of the field, and then he turned to the brush again. He approached a great mound of wild blackberry bushes, leaned over and pushed a mat of vines aside. "You gotta crawl in," he said. Ma went down onto her hands and knees. She felt and under her, and the black inside of the mound no longer touched her, and she felt Tom's blanket on the ground. He arranged the vines to the place again, and it was lightless in the cave. "Where you at, Ma?" ? "Here, right here. Talk soft, Tom." "Don't worry. I've been living like a rabbit sometimes." She heard him unwrap his tin plate. "Pork chops," she said, "and fried potatoes. God almighty, and it's still warm." Ma could not see him at all in the blackness, but she could hear him chewing, tearing into the meat and swallowing. "It's a pretty good hideout," he said. Ma said uneasily, "Tom, Ruthie told about you." She heard him gulp. "Ruthie? What for?" "Well, it wasn't her fault. She got into a fight, said her brother would lick the other guy's brother. You know how they do. She told that her brother killed a man and he was hiding." Tom was chuckling. "With me, I always gotta get Uncle John after him. But he never would do it. That's just kid talk, Ma. That's all right." I love Tom. "No, it ain't," Ma said. "Them kids will tell around and the folks will hear, and then they'll tell around, and pretty soon they're liable to get a man out of looking, and just in case, Tom, you just gotta go away." "That's what I'm saying right along. I was always scared somebody see you put stuff in the culvert, and then they'd watch." "I know, but I wanted you near. I was so scared for you. I ain't never seen you. I can't see you now. How's your face?" "Getting well quick." "Come close, Tom. Let me feel it. Come close." He crawled near. Her reaching hand found his head in the blackness, and her fingers moved down to his nose, and then over his left cheek. "You got a bad scar, Tom, and your nose is all crooked." "Maybe that's a good thing. Nobody would have known me. Maybe if my prints wasn't on record, I'd be glad." He went back to the eating. "Hush," she said. "Listen." "It's the wind, Ma. Just the wind." The gush poured down the stream, and the trees rustled under its passing. She crawled close to his voice. "I want to touch you again, Tom. It's like I'm blind. It's so dark in here. I want to remember my son, even if it's only the fingers that remember. You gotta go away, Tom." "Yeah, I knows it from the start." "We made pretty good," she said. "I've been squirreling money away. Holding out your hand, Tom. I got $7 here." "I ain't taking your money, Ma." Aw. "I ain't taking your money, Ma," he said. "I'll go along all right." "Hold out your hand, Tom. I ain't gonna sleep none if you ain't gonna take no money. Maybe you gotta take a bus or something. I hope he goes a long ways off, 300-400 miles away." "I ain't gonna take it, Ma." "Tom," she said sternly, "you take this money. You hear me? You're gonna take it right, and you're gonna cause me no pain." "You ain't playing fair, Ma," he said. "I thought maybe you could get a big city. Los Angeles, maybe. They would never look for you there." "Looky, Ma. I've been all day and all night hiding alone. Guess what I've been thinking about? Casey. He talked a lot. Maybe to bother me. But now I've been thinking what he'd say. And now I can remember all of it. Says one time he went out of the wilderness to find his own soul, and he found he didn't have no soul that was his. Says he found it just got a little piece of great big soul. Says the wilderness ain't no good, cause his little piece of soul was no good unless it was with the rest and was whole. Funny how I remember. Didn't think I was ever listening, but now I know a fella ain't no good alone. He was a good man, Ma said. Casey was a good man. Alright, usually we'd be worried about the storage being an issue right now, so like 25 minutes was gonna be, but I'm trying out the other settings, and I honestly think we could go longer now because I deleted a bunch of apps off the phone, a bunch of videos I posted have now been taken off. That's why you got like such a dump. If you look back at my shorts, is just like a bunch of random stuff, because I really need to get that stuff off my storage and into this is my life. These are things that I wish for you to understand and share, our moments of great either bliss or other type of strong attachment into emotions. I know that sounds kind of weird. All I'm trying to really say is it's capturing something more than what you might just see. Like, you'd be like, yeah, it's pretty random, but it's like, it's my life. It's not random. My life. Super quick because we're not afraid of the timer stopping. All right then. Got the next bowl prepared. Let's continue on page. Yeah, right here. Page 444 at the bottom. He was a good man, Ma said. Tom went on. He spouted about some scripture once, and I didn't sound like no hellfire scripture. He told it twice, and I remember it. Says it's from the preacher. How'd it go, Tom? Goes, 2 are better than 1, because they have good rewards for their labor. If they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. That's part of her. Go on, Tom. Go on. Just a little bit more. Again, if 2 lie together and they have heat, but how can one be warm alone? And if one prevails against him, 2 shall stand with him. And threefold cord is not quickly broken. And that scripture? Casey says it was. Called it the preacher. Hush. Listen. Only the wind, Ma. I know the wind. And I got to thinking, Ma, most of the preaching, and it's about the poor and we shall have always have us. If they got nothing, why just follow your hands and to hell with it. You're gonna get ice cream and gold plates when you're dead. And then this here preacher says 2 get to be better reward for their work. Tom, she said, What are you aiming to do? He was quiet for a long time. I've been thinking of how it was in the government camp, how our folks took care of themselves. And if there was a fight, they fixed it themselves. And if there was no cops waggling their guns, it was a better order than them cops ever give. I've been wondering, why can't we do that all over? Throw out the cops that ain't our people. All work together for our own thing. All farms our own land. Tom, Ma repeated. What are you gonna do? ? What Casey's done, he said. But they killed him. Yeah, said Tom. He didn't duck quick enough. I wasn't doing nothing against the law, Mom. He wasn't doing nothing against the law, Ma. I've been thinking a hell of a lot. Thinking about our people living like pigs and the good rich land follow. Or maybe one fellow with 1,000,000 acres. Why 100,000 good farmers is a-starving. And I've been wondering, if all our folks got together and yelled like them fellas yelled, only a few of them at the Hooper Ranch? Ma said, Tom, they're driving you and cutting you down like they done of young Floyd. They're gonna drive me anyways. They're driving all our people. We're past the 25-minute mark and I am not afraid. Page 442. You don't aim to kill nobody, Tom? ? No, I've been thinking long. I'm an outlaw anyways. Maybe I could. Hell, I ain't thought out it clear. Ma, don't worry me now. Don't worry me. They sat silent in the cold, black cave of vines. Ma said, How am I gonna know you about? They might kill you and I won't know. They might hurt you. How am I gonna know? Tom laughed uneasily. Well, maybe like Casey said, a fella ain't got a soul of his own, but only a piece of a big one. And then what, Tom? Then it don't matter. Then I'll be around in the dark. I'll be everywhere, wherever you look, wherever there finds so hungry people can eat, I'll be there. Wherever the cops are beating up a guy, I'll be there. If Casey known, why, I'll be in the way guys yells when they're mad. I'll be in the way a kid laughs when they're hungry. And I'll know it's supper's ready. And when our folks eat the stuff they raised and lived on the houses they built, well, I'll be there. See? Got him talking like Casey. Come to think about him so much, seems like I could see him sometimes. I don't understand, Ma said. I don't really know. Me neither, Tom said. It's just stuff I've been thinking about. You ain't thinking a lot when you ain't moving around. I gotta get back, Ma. You take the money then? He went silent for a moment. All right, he said. And Tom, later, when it blows over, you'll come back. You'll find us? Sure, he said. Now you better get. Here, give me your hand. He guided her towards the entrance. Her fingers clenched his wrist. He swiped the vines aside and followed her out. Go up to the field and you can come to a Sacramento on the edge. And then cut across the stream. Goodbye, Tom. Oh, wait, that was him saying that. My bad. Go up to the field and you'll cut up to the Sacramento on the edge and then cut across the stream. Goodbye. Goodbye, Tom, she said, and then she walked away quickly. Her eyes were wet and burning, but she did not cry. Her footsteps were loud and careless on the leaves as where she went through the brush, and as though she went about the dim sky, the rain began to fall, big drops and few, splashing the dry leaves heavily. Miles stopped and stood still in the dripping thicket. She turned about, took 3 steps behind towards the mound of vines, and then she turned quickly and went back towards the boxcar camp. She went straight out of the culvert and came up on the road. I'm gonna smoke a little bit and drink a little bit of water. Poor Tom. I'm glad he took the money. I wonder what he's gonna do. Sad that Ma had to leave. She loved Tom very deeply. They captured a mother's love extremely well in this book. The rain passed by, and the sky was overcast. Behind her on the car, she heard footsteps, and she turned nervously. The blinking of a dim flashlight played onto the road. While it turned back and started from home. Hold on real quick, I just want to read this again. She went straight out to the culvert and climbed up on the road. The rain had passed now, but the sky was overcast. Behind her on the road, she heard footsteps and she turned nervously. The blinking of a dim flashlight played onto the road. While it turned back and started from home. In a moment, a man caught up with her. Politely, he kept his light on the ground and did not play into her face. Evening, he said. Ma said, howdy. Looks like you might have gotten into a little rain. I hope not. Stop the picking. We need the picking. I need the picking too. You live at the camp there? Yes, sir. Their footsteps beat onto the road together. I got 20 acres of cotton. A little late, but it's ready now. Thought I'd go down and try to get some pickers. You'll get some, all right. Season's near over. Hope so. My place is only a mile up that way. 6 of us, my mom says. 3 men, me and 2 little fellas. I'll put out a sign. 2 miles, this road. We'll be there in the morning. I hope it didn't rain. Me too, said Ma. 20 acres won't last long. The less it lasts, the gladder I'll be. The gladder I'll be. My cotton's late. Didn't get it in till it was too late. What you paying, mister? 90 cents. We'll pick. I hear a fella says next year it'll be 75 or even 60. That's what I heard. Remember when it was $3 getting cut down to $2.50 for work? Those were good times. Or even 60. That's what I heard. There'll be trouble, said Ma. Sure, I know. Little fella like me can't do anything. The association set the rate, and we got a mind. If we don't, and we ain't got a farm, little fella will get crowded all the time. They came to the camp. We'll be there, said Ma. Not much picking left. She went to the end boxcar and climbed to the cleated walk. The low light, page 444. The low light of the lanterns made gloomy shadows into the car. Pa and Uncle John and the elderly man squatted against the car wall. Hello? Hello? Ma said. Evening. Mrs. Wainwright? Mr. Wainwright. He rained a delicately chiseled face. His eyes were deep under the ridges of his brows. His hair was blue, white, and fine. A patina of silver beard. What's a patina? Patina. Patina. I'll look that up later. Evening, ma'am. Or a patina of silver beard covered his jaw and chin. Evening, ma'am, he said. We got picking tomorrow. Ma observed. Mile north, 20 acres. Better take the truck, I guess, Paul said. Got any more picking? Wainwright raised his head eagerly. Suppose we could pick? ? Why not? Why not? I walked a piece with the fella. He was coming to get pickers. Cotton's nearly gone. Pretty thin. These here seconds, gonna be hard to make a wage on the seconds. Got her pretty clean the first time. Your folks could maybe ride with us, Ma said. Split the gas. Well, that's friendly of you, ma'am. Saves us both, said Ma. Paul said, Mr. Rainwright, he got to worry he comes to us about we was talking her over. What's the matter? Said Ma. Rainwright looked down onto the floor. Our Aggie, he said. She's a big girl, near 16 and all grown up. Aggie's a pretty girl, said Ma. Listen to him out. Listen to hear him out, said Paul. Well, her and your boy Al, they're walking out every night, and Aggie's a good, healthy girl that ought to have a husband. Else she might get in trouble. We never had no trouble in our family. But what was us, were we so poor off now? Mrs. Rainwright and me, we got to worrying. Suppose she got into trouble? ? Ma rolled down her mattress and sat on it. They out now? She asked. Always out, said Rainwright. Every night. Well, Al's a good boy. Kind of figured he'd dunghill rooster these days, but he's a good steady boy. I could want for a better boy. Oh, we ain't complaining about Al as a fella. We like him, but what scares Mrs. Rainwright and me as well, she's all grown up, woman-like. What if we went away, or you go away? We found Aggie in trouble. We ain't have no shame in our family. They're like wanting to get their blessing about this. Ma said softly, We'll try and see if we don't put no shame on yous. He stood up quickly. Thank you, ma'am. Aggie's all grown up woman-like. She's a good girl, and nice and good. Well, sure, thank you, ma'am. If you keep shame from us, it ain't Aggie's fault. She's all grown up now. Paul, talk to Al, said Ma. And if Paul won't, I'll talk to him. Rainwright said, Good night. And we'll be sure to thank you. He went about the edge of the curtain. They could hear him talking softly in the other end of the car, explaining the results of his embassy. That's pretty cool. Drink a little bit more water. Ma listened for a moment and then said, You fellas, she said, come over and sit here. Paul and Uncle John got heavily up from their squats. They sat on the mattress beside Ma. Where's the little fellas? She said. Paul pointed to the mattress in the corner. Ruthie, she jumped wide field and hit him. Made them both lay down. Guess they're asleep. Rosa Sharon, she went to sit with the lady she knows. Ma sighed. I found Tom, she said softly. I sent him away, far away. Yeah, she did. Paul nodded slowly. Uncle John dropped his chin to his chest. Couldn't do nothing else, Paul said. Think you could, John? Uncle John looked up. I can't think nothing out, he said. Don't seem like I could hardly awake no more. Tom's a good boy, Ma said, and then she apologized. I'm sorry. I didn't mean no harm in saying I'll talk to Al. I know, Paul said quietly. I ain't no good no more. Spent all my time thinking how it used to be. Spent all my time thinking of home, and I ain't never gonna see it no more. This here's prettier, better lands, Mom said. I know. I never ever seen it. I never even seen it. Thinking about how the willow's lost its leaves now. Something figuring to mean the hole in the south fence. Funny. Women talking over the family. Women say we'll be doing this here and we'll be going there. And I don't even care. Damn, Paul, you are fucking sexist. Pg.436. Women can change better. Oh, she's saying that. Women can change better than men. Mom said soothingly. Women got all their life on your arms. Men got all in his head. Don't you mind. Maybe next year we can get a place. We got nothing now, Paul said. Comes a long time. No work, no crop. What are we gonna do then? How are we gonna get stuff to eat? And I tell you, Rosa Sharon ain't far from due. Yet I hate to think. Gonna dig back to this old time and kept from thinking. Seems like our life's over and done. No, it ain't, Ma smiled. It ain't, Paul. And that's one more thing a woman knows. I noticed that. Man, he lives in jerks. Baby's born and a man dies, and that's a jerk. Gets a farm and loses farm, and that's a jerk. Women, it's all one flow, like a stream, like eddies, little waterfalls. But the river, it goes right on. Women look at it like that. We ain't gonna die out. People is going on changing a little maybe, but going right on. How can you tell? Uncle John demanded. What's to keep everything from stopping all the folks from getting tired and laying down? Ma considered. She rubbed the shiny back of one hand with the other. She pulled the fingers close to her right hand between the fingers to her left. Hard to say, she says. Everything we do seems to me as ain't right and going on. Seems the way to me. Even getting hungry. Ever been sick? Some die, but the rest is tougher. Just right to live the day, just the day. Uncle John says. If only she didn't die that time. Just live that day, Mom said. Don't worry yourself. There might be a good next year to back home. Ma listened. Listen. They were creeping steps on the catwalk, and then Al came in past the curtains. Hello, he said. Thought you'd be sleeping by now, everyone. Al, Ma says, we're talking. Come sit over here. Sure, okay. I want to talk too. Have to be going away pretty soon now. You can't. We need you here. Why you gotta go away? Well, me and Angie Wainwright, we figured we're gonna get married. So we're gonna go get a job in a garage, and we're gonna have a rental house for a while. He looked up fiercely. Well, we are. We know ain't nobody gonna stop us. They were staring at him. Al, Ma said at last, we're glad. We're awfully glad. You are? Well, of course we are. You're a grown man. You need a wife. But don't go right away, Al. I promised Angie. We gotta go. Can't stand this no more, Ma. Just wait till spring, she begged. Just till spring. Won't you stay till spring? Who will drive the truck? Well, Mrs. Wainwright put her head around the curtain. You heard yet? She demanded. Yeah, just heard. Oh my, I wish I had a cake. I wish we had a cake or something. What's she all giddy about? I'll set this here coffee and make some pancakes, Ma says. We got syrup. Oh my, Mrs. Wainwright said. Why, well look, I'll bring some sugar. We'll put some sugar in them pancakes. Ma broke twigs into the stove, and the coals from the dinner cooking started with them blazing. Rosie and Winefield came out of their beds like hermit crabs from shells. For a moment they were careful. They watched to see whether they were still criminals. When no one noticed them, they grew bold. Ruthie hopped all the way down to the door and back on one foot without touching the wall. Ma was pouring flour onto the bowl when Rosa Sharon climbed the catwalk. She steadied herself and advanced cautiously. What's the matter? She said. Hi, Dad. Hello, Father. Alright, good time to smoke. This is wonderful. Look at the time. 44 minutes plus. unpack this bowl. I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna finish this book. I really want to say it, but we're gonna finish this book. Homie, that's right. PG-13. Oh, they not like us. They not like us. You ever heard the Kids Bob version where they're like, bite it like a crocodile, chop, 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 chop. It'll do my stuff, chop, 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 chop. It's so stupid, but it's funny. Ruthie hopped on the way to the door and back on one foot without touching the wall. Ma was pouring flour into a bowl when Rosa Sharon climbed the catwalk. She steadied herself and advanced cautiously. "What's the matter? ? She asked. "Why, it's news!" Ma cried. "We're gonna have a little party, because Ann and Algie Wright are gonna get married." Rosa Sharon stood perfectly still. She looked slowly at Al, who stood there flustered and embarrassed. Mrs. Wainwright shouted from the other side of the car. "I'm putting a fresh dress on Angie. I'll be right over." Rosa Sharon turned slowly. She went back onto the wide door, and she crept down to the catwalk. Once on the ground, she moved slowly towards the stream and the trail that went beside them. She took the way. Ma had gone earlier, into the wallows. The wind blew more steadily now, and the bushes whistled steady. Rosa Sharon went down onto her knees and crawled deep into her brush. The berry vines cut her face and pulled up her hair, but she didn't mind. Only when she felt the brushes touching all over her did she stop. She stretched out onto her back and she felt the weight of the baby inside of her. On the lightless car, Ma stirred. What the fuck? Where did Rosa Sharon take herself? Sounds painful. What a way to defend your baby. Something about my battery running low. Let me check the battery status. Alright. We're fine. In the lightless car, Ma stirred and then she pushed the blanket back and got up. Actually, page 448, we're going to go ahead and smoke. If we somehow make it to page 450, I will move on to the next video. So sad to hear that, Al, he just wants to be happy, and honestly, at least his family's been supportive in ways I can't imagine. Stuff and trying to focus on this book. pilot's car, Ma stirred, and then she pushed the blanket back and got up. At the open door of the car, the gray starlight penetrated a little. Ma walked to the door and stood looking out. The stars were paling in the east. The wind blew softly over the willows, thickets, and from the little streets came the quiet talking of the water. Most of the camp were still asleep, but in front of one tent a little fire burned, and people were still standing about it, warming themselves. Ma could see them in the light of the new dancing fire as they stood facing the flames, rubbing their hands as they then turned their backs and held their hands behind them. For a long moment, Ma looked out. She held her hands clasped in front of her. The uneven wind whisked up and past, and a bite of frost was in the air. Ma shivered and rubbed her hands together. She crept back and forth and fumbled for the matches. Beside the lantern, the shade crept up and she lighted the wick. Watched it burn for blue. In a moment they put up to yellow. Delicately curved a right ring of light. She carried the lantern to the stove and set it down, where she broke the brittled down willow twigs into the firebox. In a moment the fire was roaring up the chimney. Rosa Sharon roared heavily over and sat up. "I'll get right up," she said. "Won't you lay a minute till it's warm?" "No, I'll get." Ma filled the coffee pot from the bucket and set it on the stove, and she put the frying pan deep with fat to get hot for the poems. "What's over you?" she said softly. "I'm going out," Rosa Sharon said. "Out where?" "You're just going to go out to pick cotton." "You can't," Ma said. "You're too far along." "No, I ain't, and I'm a-going." Ma measured coffee in the water. "Rosa Sharon, you wasn't to the pancakes last night." The girl didn't answer. "What you want to pick cotton for?" Still no answer. "Is it 'cause Al and Angie?" This time Ma looked closely at her daughter. "Oh well, you don't need a pick." "I'm a-going," Rosa Sharon said. "All right, but you don't need to be straining yourself." Ma said, "Get up, Paul. Wake up. Get up." Paul blinked and yawned. "I ain't slept out," he moaned. "Must have been on 11 o'clock when we went down." "Come on, get up, all of you, and wash." The inhabitants of the car came slowly to life. Squirms up out of the blankets, writhed in their clothes. Ma sliced salt pork into her second frying pan. "Get out and wash," she commanded. A light spray out onto the other end of the car, and then came the sound of the breaking of twigs from the Wainwright end. "Mrs. Jewell," came a call. We're getting ready. Al grumbled. "What do we got to be up so early for?" "It's only 20 acres, Ma says. Got to get out there. Ain't much con left. Got to be there before she's picked." Ma rushed them dressed. Rushed the breakfast into them. "Come on, drink your coffee. Get to going." "Can't pick no con in the dark, Ma." "We can lie there when we get light." "Maybe it's wet. Didn't rain enough. Come on now, drink your coffee, Al. As soon as you're through, better get the engine running." She called. "You're near today, Mrs. Wainwright?" Just eating. Being ready in a minute." Outside the camp, it came to life. Fires burned in front of the tents. The stovepipes from the boxcars spurted smoke. Hal tipped up his coffee and got a mouthful of grounds. He went down to the catwalk, spinning them out. Page 450. I'm going to read this page and then I'm going to stop there. "We're ready, Mrs. Wainwright, Ma called. She turned to Rosa Sharon. She said, "You gotta stay." The girl set her jaw. "I'm a-going," she said. "Ma, I'm gonna go." "Well, I got no con sack for you. You can't put no sack and no con in." "I can pick your sack. I wish you wouldn't. I'm a-going." Ma sighed. "I'll keep my eye on you. Wish you could have had a doctor." Rosa Sharon moved nervously about the car. She put on a light coat and she took it off. We're gonna finish this. I got this. "Take a blanket," Ma says, "and then if you want rest, you can keep warm." She held the truck motor roar up behind the boxcar. "We're gonna be first out," Ma said exultantly. Like, I'm 80% sure I know what that word is, but just in case, I'm gonna go ahead and put that down super quick. All right, get your sacks. Ruthie, don't you forget them shirts I fixed you to pick in. Wainwrights and Jolts climbed onto the truck in the dark. The dawn was coming, but it was slow and pale. "Turn left," Ma told Al. "Then there'll be a sign out where we're going." They drove along the dark road, and other cars followed them, and behind in the camp, the cars were being started. The families piled in, and the cars pulled out on the highway and turned left. A piece of cardboard was tied onto a mailbox on the right-hand side of the road, and on it, printed with a blue crayon, "Cotton Pickers Wanted." Al turned onto the entrance and drove onto the barnyard. Wow, crayon though? That's crazy. And the barnyard was full of cars already. An electric globe on the end of the white barn lighted a group of men and women standing near the scales, their bags rolled up to their arms. Some of the women wore the bags over their shoulders and crossed it in front. "We ain't so early as we thought," said Al. He put the truck against the fence and parked. The families climbed down and went to join the waiting group, and more cars came into the road and parked, and more families joined the group. Under the light on the barn end, the owner signed them in. "Hardley," he said, "Hawley? Question mark? How many?" "4. Will." "Will?" "Benton." "Benton?" "Amelia." "Amelia?" "Claire." "Claire." "Who's next?" "Carpenter." "How many?" 6. Alright, that's page 451, and we're going to go ahead and stop there. Thank you very much for this extended hour-long segment. This is the most amazing thing ever. I cleared my phone enough to put an hour's worth of content, and that is exactly what I was looking for. God bless. I'm going to go ahead and give a quick smoke. Clink, clink, clink. Poor Tom. Go eat after this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on page 451 of The Grapes of Wrath. You guys take care. Thank you for your time. Peace.